Welcome to the January 1.1K Tampa event held at Anthem Games for round 4. Again, I am Robert, and I have Trey with me.
Hello.
This is a match between Branden Voss and John Maldonado. Branden is playing a Deception and Obsession deck there, and John Maldonado is actually currently not playing by the rules by not revealing his resources. Both players are supposed to reveal their resources before they start drawing cards.
Yep, I guess it's just a missed thought or something.
Yeah, I'm sure it's not intentionally cheating. It's just this thing. And I do believe he starts 2 Obsession is what his deck is. I believe his deck is Obsessions with, as you can see, his hand greeds.
And a little bit of rage.
No. This Mulligan, and Branden is running Elitism in his deck. Man, that's a shipping container in there and 2 Elitism?
Yeah, I just saw that shipping container too.
Man, he got rid of a shipping container?
Yeah.
That's rough. So the only thing he keeps is 1 Elitism, huh? I don't know about that. I feel like I would have kept 2 Elitism in the shipping container.
I feel like shipping container is just so good.
Yeah, it's unlimited. I think shipping container is so good. I mean, it's a big body. Once they do deal with it, it just creates 5 small bodies. And man, it's rough.
And if you have no play on turn 2, then it's a turn 3 play when you pay 4 to play a resource.
Right. Yeah, I think I would have kept the 2 Elitism with the shipping container. John's keeping a Plotting Brute. It looks like a couple greed resources. I guess that means he's playing Rage, even though he doesn't have any right now. See, I don't know if I would keep a Brute if I don't have any Rage in my hand.
Well, it is 1 threshold.
I mean, yeah, you could get lucky drawn to, but I mean, I don't know. See, I don't like to keep cards that I can't currently play like that. Like,
Well, you also don't know how much rage he's running in his deck.
No, that's true too. I mean, he did draw his Rage he needed, though. He still hasn't revealed his resources. Oh, there you go. Double Obsession, finally.
All right.
But yeah,
starting off here.
I definitely would have gotten rid of that Plotting Brute. That's just my play style. Is if I can't play the card, I'm not keeping it. I'm not hoping for the best. So he plays a Poacher. Start things off.
It's hard to deal with, especially on turn 1.
Yeah, I mean, 4 life is pretty good. It's not quite 5, but 4 life is still pretty hard to deal with. And then all he has to do is get 1 attack off, and he's good. He's good to go for the rest of the game until you remove him.
All right, I'm gonna turn 1 Heist Planner from Branden over here.
Turn 1 Heist Planner is really good.
What do you search out with Heist Planner? Do you try to get their heavy characters? You look for removal.
I hit things that I know I can't deal with, and or removal. So if they have like large characters, like he just took a Bloody-Fisted Fanatic there, an 8/4. I mean, I probably wouldn't have taken the 8/4, but I'd probably take a Man-Shark just because it can be so good.
Man-Shark is a controlling big character.
He took Tad Disingenuous. That's a good pick, I think. If I would take
that when you would discard a card against Covert.
Right. It's I mean, maybe Executive Poaching, because Executive Poaching, even if you try to respond to it, like then it just kills something else. And then the last card he took was a Hassani there, which I can agree with Hassani as well. But yeah, when I start Heist Planner turn 1, I remove their removal if I can, because again, in sealed they usually only have very limited removal. So if you can start getting rid of it, so they can't get rid of your guys.
Yeah.
That's a win.
I think removal is a very good target as well, just because there's just so little removal. If you get rid of it, then it's hard for them to keep control of the game. Right.
Yeah, and or like I said, I just specific characters that I know I can't deal with.
Right, like a shipping container, for instance.
Yeah, if you had a shipping container, I definitely would have gotten a shipping container.
Looks like turn 2, you're going to see that Plotting Brute come out. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, that's what he has in his hand right here. I'm not sure what else he has there. John attacks in for 2.
Yep.
Puts Brian down to 23. I wouldn't have blocked that either. And then John follows up with this Plotting Brute. I mean, it's a 5/3/2. Kind of weak and really slow, but that 5 speed.
It's just a couple attacks away from kill.
That 5 strength, yeah. 5 strength can really add up and start that damage.
Accumulation Majig. That deals with the plotting group pretty nicely.
Accumulation Majig deals with most things pretty nicely.
That's true.
It's one of the better cards in Shade, especially at common level.
Yep. Yeah, it's expensive, but it's usually worth it.
Yeah, I mean, when do you typically stop paying for it?
When it stops being useful to me.
Okay, that's fair.
Sometimes I end up spending. I remember one time spending 5 on it.
But man, 5's a lot.
On that turn as well, so.
Yeah, that's just fair. Yeah, I would say most times, typically when it gets around like 3 or 4 is when it starts becoming questionable if I'm going to keep this thing.
Once it's got those 3 tokens on it, you start losing card draws, which is
right.
It's not as fun.
Not at all. It becomes really rough at that point.
And his poacher now has Covert. He starts swinging with that.
Yep.
He develops his second greed here.
Which, yeah, like the poacher, it can just, all it needs is that one attack and not die, and then it just keeps swinging the rest of the game covertly until you deal with it.
Alright, we got a finger trap on the Majig.
Finger trap on the Majig is pretty good.
Yeah, it's a good target for it because he will just choose to sacrifice it most likely instead of just leaving it out there.
Alright.
He's going to swing in with the Plotting Brute.
Because, so if we wanted to keep the Majig, accumulation Majig, and hope to draw item destruction, then he's just wasting a lot of resources potentially for nothing.
Right.
So. And
he's not going to block it.
See, this I'm not sure if I would have let that through. I might have just chump blocked it with my with a Heist Planner at this point. I mean, taking 5 is a lot. I mean, it wouldn't have killed it, but I probably would have chumped it just to get rid of it.
And we got an Neurotic Assassin as well.
Yep.
He chooses to sacrifice it.
Not sacrifice it?
Even though the first usage of him is usually free because you can develop before you restore. So you can develop 1 and then pay 1 for the accumulation Majig and then restore him.
Right. Yeah, I probably would have, because it is free, like you said, where I can just pay that one, play the 1 to resource, pay the cost, and restore. I probably would have paid it because there's no reason not to.
Just give your opponent as little information as possible.
Yeah, because it kind of sets up a thing of, does he have item removal potentially that, is that why he would keep it? Or, it just gives you at least 1 turn to try to draw item removal?
Yeah. And he plays the second sarcophagus. 3/1/4. The 4 speed is nice, and it kills all his guys that aren't covert right now, so that's good.
Yep. Even in a party, I mean, it'll at least, kill one thing, and it'll die to the other one, but at least take one guy out. So 1-for-1 trades aren't bad.
Alright, so we'll see what John does here.
John decided to draw a card for a start of tournament. He sat at 5 resources.
Okay. Yep.
It's
usually a good idea to get to 6, but.
All right. So whatever that last card was in his hand.
He really wanted it.
Yeah. Must have been something.
I think it might be removal.
Yeah. If it's removal and limited, I can understand not putting it face down because again, typically in limited you have such little removal that you need to hold it for as long as possible.
Right.
Trying to see Branden's hand over here to see what he has. I know he has a Pillaging Pirate in his hand. Let's see what else he has. John's keeping his hand down so you can't see.
He's in a big party swing here.
So it's a Erotic Assassin, which is a 3 speed, and then the other 2 are 2 speeds. So he's potentially going to get some damage through at 2 speed.
Would you attack with both the 2 speeds since the poacher's already covert anyways? Is there a reason to do that way?
Not that I can think of. Like I don't see a reason to attack with the poacher other than maybe just if they do kill if he doesn't manage to kill both of them, then you still have that last poacher to get, because both of Branden's characters only have 1 life. So I mean I can see a point for attacking in the party because even if he does take out the Plotting Brute at 4 speed, which is likely since he has a 3/1/4.
Right.
And even if he had some way to kill the assassin in his hand, then he still has 2/4/2, which is more than enough to take out both of his blockers.
Oh, okay. So it makes your guy, your covert character, be able to do damage here.
Right. Yeah. So instead of doing damage to his faction, he's killing characters. Which
so he's actually chose to kill the assassin instead of the plotting brute.
Right. See, I think I would have killed the plotting brute. I mean, the assassin is a 3-speed, yes, but one, he has to pay 2 to restore, so it's taxing his resources.
I think that's the deal breaker. There is the fact that each turn he has to pay 2 to restore it.
Right.
And plotting brute, like if you don't have any blockers out, it's going to be getting in for 5 damage a turn.
And then that's the other thing too. Yeah, the erotic assassin is only doing 2 damage or 3 damage instead of 5 damage, so you're taking 2 less. However, if he had killed the plotting brute, then the assassin on 3 speed would have been able to kill both his blockers, and then the poacher would have got through for 2 damage.
Which would have happened if he attacked with it covertly anyways.
Right.
So he plays a pillaging pirate here. We don't see what cards are burned.
Yep, they were milled off screen, sadly.
But yeah, so he's got a blocker that doesn't kill anything right now.
Right. Yeah, so it's a free 2-point swing again from the poacher. But yeah, I definitely would have killed this brute. I mean, just 5 points coming through, pretty brutal. So he's going to block, and he immediately throws down an osprey before John really responds to anything.
Yeah, he's going to pick the pirate with it to try to get it to 3 attack to kill the plotting brute.
Yep, so the pirate is now a 3-2, so that will kill a plotting brute. Not speed 4, which is very handy. And John does have an answer here. It's a mutiny grant.
Oh, that's the card he held on to, too.
Oh, yeah. Is it?
Yep.
Yeah, it's a good card to hold on to because... So John will lose 2 influence, which is really worth it. So that way he gets 5 points of damage in.
Yep. And he also negates the Sudden Osprey.
Yeah, he negates the Osprey. And so he gets 5 points of damage in. He doesn't lose, and he doesn't lose his plotting brute. Yeah, and he just completely negated the ability. So that's really worth 2 influence, I think, especially when you're up that far ahead.
Yep, and he swings in for another 2 in covert.
He gets his free 2 covert in.
Would you have blocked with both the characters, Sun Osprey as well?
I don't know. I mean, maybe just because. I mean,
what are you open to if you block with both characters?
Well, if you do block with both characters, the only reason to do that would be if you're afraid of removal. If you're afraid of removal, then you do it just to protect from taking 5. Because
yeah, but he doesn't lose anything if he blocks with 2 characters either, because the plotting brute would die at speed 3.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So yeah, he doesn't risk anything, because the plotting brute will die at speed 4, and he can't, and the osprey can't block the poacher anyway. So I mean, there's no point not to really, because like I said, you don't lose anything, and if he does have removal like he did with Mutiny Grant, then you at least don't take 5.
Right.
So.
Pretty much Sun Osprey, all he has after he comes into play is a Trump Rocker anyways.
Right. Because 1-2 typically isn't going to do very much.
No. He might kill a couple micromajigs.
So John just swings in for 2 more covert.
Yep. That covert is hard to deal with.
And that's that man shark we were talking about earlier. Like I said, this card, I mean, his follow suit ability, pay 3 pick opponent, they have to put a card face down as a resource. I was like, yes, you're ramping them. But again, in limited, when they only have a couple cards in their hand, you're forcing them to face down removal and or big characters or something that they really want.
Okay, so
this
Brandon's going to respond to the end of his turn by drawing a card, and John's going to respond by making him put the card in his hand face down. It's a little confusing what was going on here, but
yeah, because he kind of restored, started turning, and then he went back, and so. It's all sorted out. So he drew his card. He has his card face down. So
you can completely counter Manshark by never playing a card face down.
Yeah, if he never played anything face down, then that Manshark would be a 0/0. He could never play it.
Perfect.
Seems good. So now Brandon's just thinking, because Manshark is only a 2/2 right now. So it's not, So Brandon's definitely looking for answers because he still needs to deal with stuff. So he plays.
Play 2 characters here.
Plays 2 characters at once. Again, not giving his opponent a chance to respond to anything. It's a Carnival King and a Gnat. Neither one do much right now.
No.
But they're basically just chump blockers to keep himself from dying until he can draw into answers.
Right.
So, yeah, so John's verifying how many face downs he has. So John draws a Flaming Bardeus. Perfect answer for this moment.
Yeah, there's a lot of one-life pairs in the field right now.
Yep. Yeah, it kills the high-speed guys. Yeah, they only have one.
Flaming Bardeus and the Sickened Sarcophile.
Yeah, that leaves him with a 1-2-3 and a 1-1-3, which are not very menacing.
The Pillaging Pirate. Or Plundering.
Right.
Whatever.
Now see, now here's something. This is the attack that is kind of questionable. Where it's like, why didn't he attack in a party? Why didn't he put the 3-3-3 along with the 5-2-2 or the 5-3-2?
Yeah, he would have been forced to.
Yeah, because on speed. Oh no, I'm sorry. That's only a 2-2. It's not a 3-3. So he would have had one guy anyway. I thought it was a 3-3 for some reason, but no, it's only 2-2 right now. So yeah, so he wouldn't have been able to kill both blockers.
He could have paid 3 to make him play a resource though.
He could have, yeah, and then it would have been a 3-3.
And it would have been a 3-3, and that's enough damage to punch through with the 5.
Yep.
And he also would have had no cards in hand and no resources
Right.
open.
Yep. So Branden was digging for answers. He came up empty. Bunch of resources there. Extends the hand. So John Maldonado wins a pretty flawless victory. I mean, the only damage he took was from the Mutiny Grant, which was well worth it. So, thanks for watching round 4.
Yep, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.